We are going to take a break from our regularly scheduled boondocking videos this week because we have a side job. Now, you know we pick up jobs every now and then while on the road. We've done the sugar beet harvest 5 times. We've done the potato harvest. And this year we got an opportunity to do something new.
Yeah, so big shout out to Darren. You may remember him up in Alaska. He was in the white Mercedes van. He joined us. So he suggested this job at the Overland Expo in Flagstaff.
Yeah, so it's only 1 week of work. They have shows all over the country. Darren travels and works all of the shows, but they needed some help for the one in Flagstaff, and we're kind of in the area. You know we like overlanding. You know Stormtrooper doesn't know he's not 4-wheel drive, so we didn't park him next to any of the big vehicles. No. But this was an opportunity to do that. We worked there. We had a great time. We loved it. And we had some big dreams of some rigs that maybe someday we can afford.
Yeah, it's like going into a candy store and trying to figure out what you want, but you can't really have any.
You're diabetic.
Yeah.
If this isn't your thing, come back next week. We'll be back on our regularly scheduled boondocking videos. We have lots of cool videos coming up, but if you want to see some really cool rigs, stay tuned. We're going to take you there now. And at the end of the video, we'll tell you what we did and how we liked it.
Today we are just south of Flagstaff, Arizona, and this is Overland Expo West 2025. And you might ask what we're doing here. Well, we are working this week, a full 7 days. I think Carrie's working 7, I'm working 6. And what you're looking at right now, this is the free camping for the workers and also the vendors. So it's a pretty great setup. We're in the trees here. It feels like boondocking with just more people around. We're excited because this is our first time to come to the overlanding event. And this is the biggest one in the entire world with over 400 vendors expected to participate. I'm definitely not going to be able to show you all the vendors with over 400. That would probably take me about 3 or 4 days, but I'll show you some highlights and kind of give you a feel what it's like to be here and experience this for yourself. This is a couple of rigs that are for sale that first caught my attention. You can see this is a Hummer pulling a trailer, super high clearance trailer at that. Looks pretty original. And next to it here is a Ross Monster, also for sale. I'll zoom in on that in case anybody wants to call and ask questions, but of course, perfect color. Super high clearance, big tires, great suspension, lots of room. Definitely out of our budget, but it's fun to dream. We actually put in for a competition to win one. And I like to say that we were a close winner. We almost won that one. And you might think I'm just attracted to green rigs, but well, maybe I am, but this one looks awesome too. Anything with high clearance and big tires, 4-wheel drive, off-road capable. Yeah, it definitely draws me over. Well, that's a cool looking rig. It looks like it's some type of rhino line all the way around. And it's got the pop-up, so you've got headroom. Big, awesome, beefy bumper with the winch. If you're a suspension nerd, or just someone like me that when you get, the older you get, the more you start looking at suspension because you get a better ride. And it's just easier on your body and feels better to drive. Doesn't knock things around in your rig as much. But I love checking out different suspension, and I feel like they're getting really good at it right now. And I would love to see what this thing feels like driving on a washboard road or over big rocks and see how well that works. But there's lots of suspension companies here, lots of vendors that have totally different styles. So come check them out for yourself. This is an actual Unimog. We call a lot of rigs Unimogs that probably aren't, but this is an official one. Looks like it's got 46-inch tires, maybe 47. Aluminum built to keep it light. It doesn't need paint. Big giant tire on the roof that I would never be able to get off. And a motorcycle holder in the front with a winch. So another dream vehicle. Fun to look at. Very capable. All right, let's keep moving on. This one's called the Prospector. How neat is that? Boy, these are really built, so when you start putting bigger tires on rigs, you need to either beef up the axle or get a whole new axle to support the weight of the tires and the rig itself. And that means all new suspension as well. So that's a huge part of the cost. And I think very worth it if you have the money. Look at the clearance. I'm honestly not trying to show all green vehicles, but that's what I keep doing. I apologize for that, but Luminous is here, represented. I remember them even back 8 years ago when we were building out. So it's not all about the big expensive rigs. There's just about anything here for anyone. I'm not saying anything is cheap here, but if you're looking for a certain size or certain vehicle, this is a great place to come and just look at your options before you make a down payment or put a hold on a vehicle, just to make sure that you get what you want, because it seems like every year there's something new coming out. Oh, that's a good design. You got your cooler in the front, slides out. Your space inside looks very comfortable. Good for sleeping, not good for standing. And then your outside kitchen. There's a lot of these type of rigs. A very good variety to look at. Okay. I want to show some different varieties, not just the big, massive $500,000 rigs. So we're going to take a little walk around here, see if we can find something new. Well, there's an Earth Roamer. So that's definitely a $500,000 vehicle. Just adjust it where you want it. So check this out. Toyota is definitely represented here. They have several areas and vehicles on display. This is a TRD Pro. I'm guessing lockers front and back. Very off-road capable. All right, so moving on over here, the amount of different kinds of tent top campers that you can get for rigs is amazing. I mean, it's probably a quarter acre of different varieties and setups for different rigs. So come check that out if that's something you're interested in. It's kind of like a van meetup, you know, a van meetup you can check out a lot of vans and see which van you like. Well, here you can come check out any kind of rig and see what you might be interested in, because you just never know. Here's an old Willys Jeep.
I went in from a perspective of really
That's awesome.
the least safe place in the world. We're outside, and I was like,
All right, tell me the year if you know. I'm sure somebody does. I'd like to drive that. I think it'd be fun.
and I was just like, this is tight.
Check out this bike rack that swings away. So you still got your kitchen, and yet you have a swing away bike rack. And your tools, look at that. This is Opus, and I'm not gonna pretend I know how to pronounce everything here or know about them, but it's a cool looking rig. It's got slide outs. And I really like the cooler slide outs that we're starting to see a lot more of. And And look at that, the Opus that's actually lit up.
Do whatever you want. Have fun.
So you can see as you step in at nighttime where the step is. It's the little details that are cool. There are several wheel and tire vendors around, maybe a half dozen wheels and a half dozen of tires. So big selection out here. I'm seeing a lot of new wheels that I haven't seen before. A lot of Jeep accessories and Gladiator accessories, as well as Broncos. And suspension everywhere. They seem to be jumping in leaps and bounds in suspension. I know I talked about that already, but all right, let's keep going. We got lots to see and a little time to see it. So it's not just about rigs, it's about accessories, first aid accessories, off-road towing accessories.
Dude, you could suspend a house off that. You know what's great, Perry?
Yeah, look at the size of these. That's pretty awesome. That's a big sling. And this is the Mars. It's got 2 spare tires on the back. I don't think I've seen one with 2. That tells me this is off-road machine. Never heard of the Mars, looks awesome. Other thing I look at too is windows. Do they pop out? Are they double paned? Is there room on the roof for solar panels? Can you put solar panels on the roof? Like pop-ups like this, you might be able to do the stick ones. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this Ember brand and how well it is designed and built. It's got fully decked out with solar right now. Another rig here by Ember, smaller one. And this booth is for camera accessories, mounting accessories. You can mount a camera just about anywhere nowadays. And we are seeing lots of electric bikes. Now, there is at least 3 dozen electric bikes right now inside of the vending area. Look at this old Dodge. Wow. Look at the grill. How cool is that? Love the spare tires mounted up on the side like that. And it looks like a custom rear end. Oh, look at that. Check out this adrenaline built 550 F550 Power Stroke. I could just about set a small chair. I could sit on the ground underneath it and probably just barely touch my head on the undercarriage. It's an adrenaline build. That thing is massive. Like my top of my head comes up to about right about here. I like the little rigid lights up there on the top. Here's another one of their builds. I wish they post prices because it'd be fun. It'd be fun to look and point. It's like 46-inch tires, 45-inch tires, somewhere in there. You can scan it. Probably get a price on it, maybe. You can see it's lowered right now, so it raises up. Because I'm sure it doesn't ride that low. Dirt bikes and trail bikes are a big part of overlanding. And they are represented here. Got the Zero motorcycle there, and you've got Suzuki over here on this side. And accessory booths for these as well. Look at this bolus. I'm not familiar with them, but they sure stand out. I think I have seen one somewhere before. They're kind of like an Airstream. I don't know much about them. They look, it almost looks like a boat upside down. This looks like the bottom of a hole on the roof. So is that aircraft aluminum? I'm not sure. I like the rivets. I like how you don't have to ever paint it. Look how high this motorcycle is lifted up from the back. So I'd say that's 4 feet up. This is probably, I mean, if money was no object, this is probably my favorite vehicle here. I just like that it's not overly sized. It is big, but it's got huge clearance, big tires, great rims, good suspension. So ADV mobile. It's pretty awesome. It's an F600. That is humongous. You gotta have a winch, of course it does. Great front bumper. Great lights all over. And it doesn't come too far over the cab. I've seen some of these that come way over the cab and they just look top heavy. Subaru has a big booth here. Lots of rigs and ideas, accessories. They're making these things off-road capable. Well, I think they always have been, but they're making a lot more. Like there's a trailer back there that says Subaru on it. That black small one. So they make them light enough to where you can pull it. You can put a rooftop tent on them. You can put a rooftop tent on the Subaru itself. I feel like I've seen this one before. That's a cool looking Subaru. I've always liked them, never had one. All right, this is all the way back in the corner and I just had to check it out. I believe these guys are traveling together on a big trip. And there's some old Volkswagen bus here I wanted to check out. There's an old Scout that those guys are all standing behind this Jeep. A good variety of rigs. There's the Scout. All set up for off-road and overlanding. DriveTheGlobe.com. So check this out. See where these guys are going or where they've been. When this is not Overland Expo event, it is the fairgrounds and also just an activity area for a lot of different things that are happening in the area. But you can tell these old buildings, these are barracks. And it's surrounded by these old barracks, which they've kept going and are now being used for other things such as education and classes. And like I said, there's lots of places to come and listen to a class on just about everything that you can think of having to do with overlanding or boondocking or safety, health, all kinds of good stuff. Here's another class. More good stuff. Wilderness survival. That one looks good to me. All right, so if you're showing off Jeeps, you gotta show this one. I've never seen anything like it. And it is modernized with the tent on top. Yeah, that's pretty unique. And yes, there are vans here. Pre-built. Papa Go. There's a few display vendors for vans. Once again, more 4Runners, Toyota. Airstream. Airstream builds out vans as well. Not just the big shiny things. Here is Solus, built on ProMaster chassis, and an Echo. And then the 4 van, that's a Revel, Mercedes chassis. So I had to show you some vans. I'm still liking our van. We just got to keep it running. Look at all the recovery gear that they built on the front of this camper. So you've got 2 tires, you've got traction boards up on the top, the shovel here, an axe, a high lift jack. This thing comes with the off-road idea. Mammoth Overland. Well, that thing's cool. It's got windows up there on the top. Just needs a bunch of solar panels on top. Gas tanks here in the rear. Oh, it's got a shower. Wow. That's amazing. I'm kind of moving fast through these because I've already stopped and talked, and before you know it, half the day goes by. There's a lot of really cool people here just to talk to, and that know a lot of information that you can learn real quick. So try to show you as much as possible. Another electric bike. That one looks cool. Vulcan. Solar panels, batteries. Another Solus. Lost Road campers. So that's pretty sweet. All right, I can never get enough Jeeps. This one's been so heavily modified. It looks amazing. I like the amber lights on the front. Those are great for dust, so you might just think they're for looks, but people that have those, it helps you see through dust, especially at nighttime when they're lit up. The coupe looks like something that would be at King of the Hammers event in Nevada. I've been seeing a lot of this rim design lately, which I really like, especially if it was in a green or a black. But they definitely stand out being white. That's probably why they are that. And there is unlimited t-shirts to buy as well. 53-foot truck full of t-shirts. This is the indoor section, so accessories for anything, even cooking supplies, air compressors and air, anything to do with tire related, cameras, camera booth, electric bike accessories, and even a section for dogs and packs and things your dogs can carry with them. More suspension, upper control arm. That might be a lower control arm. Spyderco knives. Lots of different choices. And booth. Another dog. Look at that. I could probably just do a whole thing on different people's dogs that are here. That would actually be fun for me. And this is by Grand Design here, a Lineage Series F on a 600, F600. I wouldn't mind driving something that big. I just wouldn't want to pay for it. All right, so I think I'm gonna find the ice cream guy. This is Nitro Ice Cream Shop, and they gave me a free sample, and it is amazing. They use nitros, or nitrogen. I don't know what it is, nitro, but in the process of making their ice cream. And this guy does a really great job. It's top-notch ice cream right up there with Tillamook. And I'm gonna get some right now. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, I got my ice cream, so I'm gonna head back to the van and call it a day. Just wanted to show that Rudel has not been neglected, because there is just a great area here to take him for a walk every morning and every evening. And this is one of those jobs where we really like, because we can have a dog and still be able to work. So we were able to take breaks, go check on him, take him for a walk. So it worked out very nicely. Everybody was happy. Rudel seemed happier than normal and got super excited. It was almost like he was getting more walks and more attention than usual.
So working the expo was lots of fun. We got to see all the cool rigs come in. We got to tour them. We got to talk to people. The expo is anything you could want to do with overlanding. You could go there and get an idea. But it's not only that, it's a community. So on top of what you just saw, all those cool rigs, there are hundreds of people camping in the area. And it's just a community. Everybody had fun, camped together, went to the expo, got their toys, and hung out.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event.
Okay, so you know that we haven't worked in 2 years because we went to Alaska last year and we took a year off. So this first 2 days of work, it about killed us.
Yeah. No, I guess the first 2 days of the sugar beet harvest or the potato harvest, everything's
also kills us.
Yeah, everything takes a little bit to get used to, but this was no exception. So our job, the first day was called site marking. This is a 7-day job.
Every day is different.
Yeah, anywhere up to, what, 10, 11 hours if possible per day. So the first day we went out there, Carrie was using a 300-foot tape measure. And then
not by myself, I had help.
Yeah, and then I was in a different lot using a spike, drilling holes in the ground to put flags in. So everything was about site marking.
So what we were doing is all those vendors you saw, there were 400 vendors in total, and they already had it mapped out where every vendor was going to go. And so we had to go into these huge parking lots and huge areas and put stakes or tape or something so that each vendor will know where their booth is and their boundaries.
Yeah, because with so many vendors, they're all packed in tight, so you have to make sure you get everybody's spot just right. There's not a lot of extra room.
Yeah. Now, on top of that, we were working in 25 to 35 mile per hour winds, which made things extremely challenging. So the tape we would lay on the asphalt would blow off.
Yeah, we had 40-mile-an-hour gusts, so it turned out to be a two-day job. What normally is 1 day was 2 days. So
it took 10 of us, at least 10 or 15 of us, 2 days to mark all 400 sites, and it usually takes a day.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a big job.
It's a lot of up and down off the ground. So
yes.
I think that's pretty much what tired it. That's what tired my back out. So
I think it's like doing burpees. You guys know the burpee exercise where you go on the ground, you throw your legs out, you come back up, you reach your hands to the sky. Let's try doing that all day long.
Yeah.
Jumping jacks or up and down jumping jacks.
Right. So we were tired. After 2 days of that, then it was time to take...
We stuffed bags.
Oh, we did. We stuffed bags for the vendors. So they each get a certain bag that has different...
goodies in it.
Yeah. It's a goodie bag. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
and then,
how many of those did we stuff?
Well, we helped. They stuffed 1,200 bags.
Yeah.
I think we did like 600.
Right.
Not by ourselves. We also had help.
Yeah.
And then the next day, so you buy a weekend camping pass, so you get to camp all weekend and go into the expo every day. The expo is actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got there on the Monday before.
Right.
So on Thursday, I helped check in the vendors. So 400 vendors arrived.
Yeah, and then I would take them with other people, and lead them to their exact spot that we marked off the previous days.
Hopefully the flags were still there.
And some of the flags were gone. It was difficult, but it worked out. Yeah.
And anytime that we say we did it, we had a team helping us. We're the new kids on the block.
Yeah, and
so we were assisting them.
Yeah, and Darren helped a lot. He was kind of our trainer. So
on Thursday, I was on my feet for 10 hours because 400 vendors come in. They have to get there and get set up before 7 a.m. on Friday morning, and they're not allowed into the show because the show opens on Friday morning. So Thursday is a huge day.
It's super busy. There's people everywhere setting up because it's not just one vendor. It's the whole team that comes in and sets up the display.
Yeah.
So it could be as many as 5 or 6, 7, 8 cars in there trying to set up one booth.
And then once the show opened, things settled down a little bit.
Yeah.
Dave worked camping showers in the morning. So those people who bought weekend passes in the campground nearby, within walking distance, they had showers available. So
yeah, I thought it was going to be like a cleanup job where we clean showers, but it turned out to be a job where we just show people how the showers worked. Because they were overlanding type of showers.
They were hooked up to propane bottles.
Yeah, and I think it was Kakadu, I believe, was the
sponsor.
The vendor for that.
Yeah.
So it was outdoor, kind of, a nomadic shower, and we showed them how to use it. That was good work. I like that job.
And then I was shuttling people back and forth one day to the campground, and just anything they needed done, we would help with that. But those were our main jobs.
Yeah, they were really great to work for. They gave us meals, about 1 meal a day, and snacks and things like that. And then, you know, where we camped was free, so yeah, it worked out really well.
They did very well for us. They gave us any kind of snack we could want.
Yeah.
They provided lunch every day. And if you worked a full day, they also provided dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
And one night they brought in, they catered a pizza company to come in, and they provided wood-fired pizza for us for dinner.
Which is pretty much all you can eat, so that was great.
They were very generous.
Yeah.
And then when the show opened, we got into the show for free.
Yep.
Free camping, free showers, and we also got free drinks every night.
Yeah, and the ice cream man gave me a free ice cream.
So yeah, Sunday, we arrived on Monday, and Sunday was our last day. And I would say, think about it like this. You come in on Monday, you set up a city, you set up 400 buildings, 20 people come to see your buildings, and then you tear it down in a day.
Yeah, but it's more than 20 people.
20,000 people.
Yeah.
20,000 people. Yeah. So it was very interesting to see from start to finish how this works. And Dave and I in the past have thought about going to the Overland Expo. We're frugal. And so we didn't really want to spend the amount for tickets. But after working it for a week,
we can see why it costs so much money to get into the event, because there is so much that goes into it. So many people working. They had to bring in law enforcement, lots of law enforcement. They had to bring in medical, the fire department.
Not only the local law enforcement, Arizona Fish and Game also helped with traffic control.
Game and fish.
Game and fish. And they brought in 100 porta potties for the event.
Yeah, yeah. So they put a lot of effort and money into it, and so it started making sense on why it cost so much to get in.
Yeah, and they cleaned those porta potties every day, and sometimes twice a day.
It was very well organized.
Yes.
Yep.
It was a great event. So I would say, would you do it again?
I would totally do it again. You know, I don't know if I would sign up, because we got to sign up for the jobs that we wanted, so I might be a little hesitant to signing up for the site marking just because it's so much up and down. But I would definitely do it again.
I think it was just a bad year because the wind was so bad.
Yeah, because we had to do everything twice instead of once. So
normally in Flagstaff, they just stick the flags in the ground because it's soft. Well, they haven't had very much of a winter, so the ground was concrete hard.
So we took a spike and we hammered it to the ground just so we could stick a stake in there. And then, like an hour later, the stake would be blown away. So it was so windy. So we had to do it again.
Yeah. The first 2 days, we were like, "What the heck did we get ourselves into?" But yeah, it was good. We enjoyed it. We had a great time. Yep. And like I said, the event, once it gets going, it's a community. It's they call it a festive style camping. So everybody comes in. You're packed in tight. You're with your friends and you're having a good time. It's like the van meetup we did in Florida, kind of.
Yeah, it's similar to a nomadic meetup.
Except for they didn't have 400 vendors.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a great time. We hope you enjoyed this video. It's not one of our regular videos, but you know, sometimes we have to deviate from our normal plan.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, so we showed it.
Yeah. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, this job will pay for that oil housing that we have to have replaced coming up here real soon, or at least it'll be a really good dent in that bill.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching the video. Thank you for staying all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and give us a thumbs up.
And let us know in the comments below, what was your favorite rig you saw in the video?
Yeah.